All right, guys. I felt kind of bad that I had to cancel cooking stream, but I was really, really tired. But I was still gonna make the karaage anyway for my kid. So I was kind of thinking making it up to you guys at some other point, and I will do a cooking stream at some point. But I figured a good happy medium for now is to actually record the making of it and into videos, and then I'll just send it to you guys so you guys can have it. That way, yeah, I didn't do a cooking stream. Doesn't mean I can't show you how to make good karaage. And I learned this recipe from my late wife, and so it's about as original and authentic as it can get. There's variations out there. You can look it up, experiment. You might find a different recipe that you like better, but basically, this is what it comes down to. First things first, though, we gotta make a marinade and let it marinate at least 24 hours to 48 hours before you cook it. Eyeball that, you know. Some people like it really heavily marinated, some people don't. At least marinate it for a good few hours, like at least half a day at the bare minimum. But anyway, so today we're gonna, well, right now for this video, we're gonna make the marinade, all right? So first things first, you want chicken thighs. This is what I was making for. Now, if you have a local Japanese market or something, try to find this. Jidori free-range chicken. And usually they're friendly enough, and in here at some point they say for karaage. If you can find one of these, it's already cut in the portions and the sizes that you need. But if you cannot find this, that's fine. As long as you can find yourself some chicken thighs and cut them to about, yay size, give or take. Here for comparison. At least this little size, a little bit bigger is fine. Don't cut it any smaller than this. Do get it with the skin. It adds an extra flavor to it. They're absolutely delicious. Here's one of the bigger cuts, just so you can see. No bigger than this, all right? That gives you a rough idea of the kind of chicken and the kind of cuts that you need. Don't worry about any cartilage or removing that or any other fat or anything. That's all part of the equation, okay? If you get rid of that, you're getting rid of, 90% of the flavor. You don't want to do that, all right? So we'll put these in. So I wanted to show you that packaging before I started. Let me wash my hands real quick. You want to have a sanitary environment, right? All right, let's see real quick. And since I'm washing my towel, I'll just use some paper towels here to dry off. Okay. Alrighty, so here's what you're gonna need for the marinade. You're gonna need some sugar. I prefer some brown sugar. It's healthier, not as sweet. You're gonna need at least 3 cloves of garlic and a bit of ginger. About yay much should be more than enough. The recipe I have calls for 1.5 teaspoons. Eyeball it. Again, this is to taste. You're gonna need a grater for the garlic and the ginger. You could also chop them up, but it's better if you grate it. It blends better in the marinade. Obviously, measuring spoons. You're gonna need some soy sauce. Standard soy sauce is fine. Don't worry too much about anything else. And what is called cooking sake. And that is it. So first things first, I'm referencing the thing here, but let me show you here. Let me build this down. So there's the chicken right here, right? So first things first, we want to take that ginger and that garlic and we want to grate it up, right? Let me make sure it's sticking here. Okay, yeah. Just really quick. Use the grater to get it nice and juicy and blend it in there. I am not a big fan of ginger. The taste is extremely overpowering for me. I have a very sensitive palate, and so using too much ginger kind of tends to dominate. You don't want to do that. Again, this is one of those things where people say, yeah, put this much. No, don't put so much. It's food, and food is defined by personal preferences and sensitivities. So use your own judgment based on your tastes. Don't worry too much about scraping this off right away, because we're going to do the same thing with the garlic. So you take the garlic, we grate it in there as well. I put it all in the same place. I don't spread it around when I'm grating it, because we are going to throw in the rest of the mix for this marinade right on top of it. So it's gonna mix as we pour it in, and then we're gonna mix it all together. So don't worry too much about spreading it around just yet. You could always grate this in a small little measuring dish or something else on some other container, and then, you know, blend in the marinade separately and then pour it over. You can always do that. I prefer to do it like this. Again, there's no real wrong way to do this as long as it gets in there, right? The right portions. Feel free to experiment. I keep repeating that because that's how you discover new ways of doing things, new recipes, right? You experiment. This is a guideline, not a rule. All right. All right. Okay. So now that we got those in there, use a fork or something to kind of scrape off whatever is stuck there. Get down there. I know you like it. You feel like it's your home, but it's not. Come on. Your home is down there. That's your new home. You're moving. All right. So you got that there grated. I always tell people, clean as you go. It makes for a lot less work later, and it makes for a more sanitary kitchen. You want sanitary when it comes to food. Now, the sake and the soy sauce. This is fairly straightforward. You want to have 2 tablespoons of dry sake and 3 tablespoons of soy sauce. So I start with the lower quantities. So I take the dry sake, again, here it is. You know, and it's 2 tablespoons of the dry sake. So here we go. And 1, like I said, I pour it right over. And 2. And then we take soy sauce. Actually, I almost forgot. 2 teaspoons of sugar. Put the sugar first. I saved it just in time. I prefer to put in the sugar first. Like I said, I put it on top. See, 1 teaspoon, 2 teaspoons of brown sugar. And then I pour the sake and the soy sauce over that, so the sugar has the opportunity to start dissolving in and mixing in from the get-go. And then we take the the soy sauce, and it's 3 tablespoons of soy sauce. So this is a 1. It's not going to dissolve completely, but it's gonna get the process started and gonna make it a lot easier to mix it all together after you're done. So see, it's already starting to blend very well. And set those aside. I'll put those back in the refrigerator. And that is basically it. Now, here's the cool part. Make sure you take a fork and you start stabbing the chicken in multiple areas. This is to allow the marinade to sink into the meat itself. Makes for absorbing the flavor better. Don't stab it like you're an angry, jilted lover or anything like that. You make sure you stab hard enough that it'll go through and it'll pierce it. But you don't want to stab too much, because then you start splashing marinade everywhere, and we don't want to make that kind of a mess, right? Plus, you know, there's better ways to focus your anger when you need it. You know, to vent. Don't vent on the chicken. The chicken didn't do anything to you. It wasn't the chicken's fault, okay? Just be kind to the chicken, or else, you know, God knows what'll happen to your stomach later. Anyway, you stab it. Get it. When you're confident you've made enough holes in the pieces of chicken, put that to the side. Then, actually, no. You move them around. Make sure you scoop from the bottom and move them all around to make sure the marinade gets everywhere. That all the pieces of chicken are getting soaked in this stuff, right? We want to make sure that when we put this in the fridge, it's all absorbing all that delicious goodness, and that it's all blended in as uniformly as we can manage it, right? Make absolutely sure that all your pieces of chicken have, you know, this good brown coloring from the marinade itself. That means they've gotten into the juice. And like I said, by scooping from the bottom up, you're bringing up not just the pieces that have already been drenched in it, they bring up the excess marinade, which then trickles down to the pieces that don't have as much, and that's how you spread it evenly. All right, pat it down a little bit, make sure there's nothing on the edges, because we're about to seal this puppy in order to refrigerate it. Get yourself some plastic wrap. I love the ones in Costco with the little belt, the little cutter built in, because it just makes it easier. It's a bit of a headache doing. I hate using regular plastic wrap because it always bends and sticks to itself, and then it's a mess trying to get it right. You pinch it in one end, pull it out, and my favorite part, the magic blade, and there it is. You just tuck it in on the edges. Make sure you tuck in below the edge right here, so it wraps around the edge and doesn't leave a space for air to get in. You want it sealed up as much as possible, not just because you don't want to get air getting in and, you know, affecting the process. You don't want air getting out either. It prevents your fridge from stinking up of, you know, raw chicken and soy sauce. I mean, I don't know. You may actually like that smell, God knows, but just, you know, just in case. All right, and that is pretty much it. That is the marinade. Look at that. It's beautiful, ain't it? Now you take this puppy, put it in the fridge. Like I said, at least half a day, preferably 24 to 48 hours. Really allow for that marinade to sink in, get all those flavors in. And then we will be ready to bread and fry them. Now I'm gonna give you guys a bit of a preview of what you're gonna need. I will repeat this again when I do the next video, so don't worry too much about it, but I wanna show you right now so you can start, you know, getting an idea. This is what is called katakuri ko. It is essentially potato starch. Potato starch, not cornstarch. Potato starch is what we're gonna use for the breading. And then I always add some seasoning to the breading to add for extra flavor. Usually what I do is I just put the potato starch in a plastic bag, and normally that's all you need. You just need the chicken, you put it in, you cover it in the starch, and then you fry. It's really as simple as that. There's a little bit of things that I'm gonna go over when I go do the frying tomorrow, but I do season the breading. You can use a simple salt and pepper. Just put a bunch of salt and pepper in it, you know, kind of eyeball it, make sure you don't put too much, and mix it in with the potato starch. That way when you put the chicken in and bread it, it's mixed in, it's not just getting potato starch, it's getting potato starch seasoned with salt and pepper, which adds to the flavoring. Personally, being Boricua from Puerto Rico, I go a little step further. We have something we call adobo. This puppy. This one is salt, pepper, and it's pepper based, but it also has lemon and a bunch of other things. I cannot recommend this enough. You can get it on Amazon if you like. If you don't have a Hispanic market near you where they have these are famous worldwide. You can literally go on Amazon and get a bunch of them at a very reasonable price. There's many other flavors. Feel free to experiment. There's a simple with pepper. There's a one without pepper. There's this one with lemon, paprika, all sorts of different things. This is what I put in my potato starch bag right before I mix it with the karage, and it makes it taste oh so much better. And I will show you that. Tomorrow I'll make the next video. You're probably getting these two at the same time. No worries. But in any case, highly recommend this. Or if you have some seasoning that you like, maybe you're from the South and you like putting some sriracha sauce or some other. Well, I say sriracha, it's not from the South necessarily, but you know what I mean. You can put any kind of heat in it. If you want to put heat in it, I would not do that because karage is not designed to be hot spicy from the get-go. But if it's something you want to experiment with, by all means, treat it like regular fried chicken. You can mix anything into the potato starch that you would normally put as a dry rub, for example. So feel free to experiment. If you find a really cool, tasty combination out of that, let me know. I want to know. If it's hot spicy, I'm not going to try because I'm very sensitive to heat. But if it's something else, I might actually do it the next time I do my batch and try out your recipe. All right. Anyway, that's the marinade. I'm gonna let it sit there for 24 hours. Tomorrow I'm gonna go ahead and do the frying. I'm gonna make another video and post it up for you guys to check it out. All right. See you guys soon.